Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Monday Moment of Envy, and we are in our first new studio, I'd say. It's the same exact location as everything else we've recorded, but from here on this wall, we've made some space, put some pictures up, and got some tables, and I think it's going to be a nice look. We'll try this out for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, so it's like version 2.0.
Yeah, version 2.0.
And then we might do 2.1, 2.2, stuff like that, iterations of this and see it.
But
for now,
it works great.
Yeah.
And this picture right here that you're seeing, this is from James Kelly. This is not our work. This is James Kelly's work. It's awesome. We wanted to feature it, and we love that guy. So here we are.
He sent us a print, so we got to put it up.
Oh, exactly.
And our own stuff back there.
He was generous enough to send us something from Scotland, man. This is his work from Scotland. This is actually Faroe Island, I think, right here.
Yeah.
And he sent the work to us from there, and it's beautiful. So we hung it up with the rest of our few prints. Jeff Peterson, we have a few prints already, but not real yet, so I can't wait to fall
these are
through.
mostly test prints. These will all be changed. So.
Yeah. So welcome to the Moment of Envy. Welcome to who we're featuring today. I chose him this week, and we're featuring Allen Chau. Allen Chau. So the story behind this picture, you have it over there, right, Brendan?
Yeah, so Allen had gone on a trip to Iceland, and he was there, and he went to Glacier Lagoon. And at Glacier Lagoon, he said he walked up and down the beach for like hours. And then he said the sun finally started to set, and it was setting behind those mountains there and off to the distance. And that's when he gets this awesome glow. And he says, this is when I finally decided to focus on this little ice piece here. And I think it turned out beautifully.
Yeah, it is brilliant. And we talk about it compositionally, to have his image without these elements right here. Imagine those were gone, and you just have the nice look of the water. Yeah, you get the color reflection, and you get what's neat about this is it's not a completely straight line. It's organic. It's comfortable. It wouldn't be the same.
It would be pretty.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be just like awesome.
No, not the way that it's polished now because of it. Because we have that fantastic looking piece of ice right here.
And it's really sharp and focused too. I think it's beautiful.
It's key. It's key. If he didn't have that in focus, or he had something else that was just nondescript, there was another picture that he had that we thought looked really neat, but it didn't have an obvious centerpiece, an obvious subject. And this right here becomes an obvious subject.
And the fact that he didn't put it straight in the center of the photo either. It's off to the left a little bit. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, let's break it down. Let's go into the thirds. Oh, that's a bad level line. Let me go a nice level line. That's a tight third. So none of these lines work. Let me try that again. So we got ice thirds going across here and further over, breaking down the vertical thirds. If you look at it, you can see how he's put it here in this quadrant. It's close to the camera, obvious as subject is close to the camera. And then the bottom third, you just see a little bit of rocks through the water, nothing too much. And then the second third, that's where all of the terrain is. These other pieces of ice, it's perfect. It gives it context for what this guy is right here. If he had those gone, I think it would feel imbalanced. That gap between here and this rock would feel empty, boring. It's really necessary to have these other pieces, and since you have the context of what this is, you know what these are, even though you can't clearly look at them and see them in other situations. You're like, okay, well, I know that those are ice chunks, just like this ice chunk and this Glacier Lagoon. And so when you're looking at the third with the sunset, that color is right here. If anything, the imbalance is that the most interesting subjects on this third and the most interesting sunsets on that third, and nothing is over here. But let me get rid of all these lines. Complementary to what's happening over here is a peaceful, nice blue situation. I love. It's a lot like Elise Bender's shot, where she has really cool orange coloring on this side and nice yellow blue coloring on this side. Yeah. So Allen has an awesome image here where you get a best of both worlds. You see the transition from day to night. It's post sunset, and you can see what's happening to the terrain here. And you said something before we started recording about the blue on this rock and the ice. I mean, what were you saying? You remember that part about the direct sunlight?
Yeah. So, I mean, you wouldn't get this shot and these colors if the sun was still up. Right? So only after the sun sets do the clouds start to light up with those red tones.
Yeah.
And the ice gets that beautiful orangey red glow also from the water and from the sky. And so you wouldn't have got those with a normal sun being in the frame. So it was great to get this. This is another thing that we've learned and that we're starting to share with people is, hey, wait it's okay to wait after the sun is already set. Some amazing things are still going to happen.
You get used to it a little bit where you see a sunset, and as the sun's hitting the horizon, that's the sunset to you.
Right.
But then some of the best colors as clouds are higher elevation, higher altitude, I should say, and then you've got all this light still hitting them while it's not hitting you, you get this afterglow that's fantastic.
Because that glow is a huge light source still, and you've got that amazing color cast on the clouds, which is casting all that color down into the water and making this image just shine.
You got that color cast that's happening and even reflecting in the water and lighting up parts of this ice. It's as if it has a direct source of light. It's bounce light that's a direct source of light.
And you get that really cool, hot, cool contrast with the colors, which is nice too.
And so if Allen had moved his camera right or left and changed things, like what if he had everything in the center? It would nowhere near be as strong. He's got these offset from each other. And then if he moved so far off to the right that it put, or let's say far off to the left where he put this sunset over on this side, it wouldn't be as cool seeing these three shapes, over here. I mean, they could be a nice line, but I like what he's got here because of the way that the shape looks. Because this has a very thin point that it all kind of comes to. It's heaviest in the middle. That's where it's like strongest structure is. And so if this was on the far right, really big, and then pointed towards the center as a small point, I don't know, it loses some of its weight. To me, it looks like it's imbalanced if the weight isn't anchored towards the center. So towards the center, you have the largest part of the structure, and then it kind of points away with the thinning parts. And I think that's what makes a nice composition, too, is that he has the weight in the right spot of his frame. Anything else that stands out to you?
Just the amount of detail. I mean, I don't know what the f-stop was on this, but the sharpness of that ice. I love ice and glass detail, and so this thing is just like eye candy to me. I love it. And even the detail in the ice behind it, even far off, looks amazing. And I love the color coming through. The one in the middle is fantastic.
Just how it shines through there?
Oh, yeah, I just love that. So it's too bad Facebook is pixelating everything like crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's not an actual high-res image of this. I bet it looks fantastic.
Yeah, so I bet the original, Allen, this is seriously thumbs up, man. This is a great shot. You should be proud of it.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that this is almost what it looked like straight out of camera.
Probably pretty close. Yeah.
Brendan and I have always featured people on Monday Moment of Envy that have a balance in composition, a balance in color, and there's few distracting elements. And the way that he's lined up in the height of his tripod and where he decided to put things, he went low enough to take the distracting elements of this and kind of all blend them together. Kind of, they're a color, not a distracting shape. They all kind of complement and frame this scenery. You were talking earlier, too, about how right here, everything goes up at a diagonal. It's not level and flat and boring.
True, yeah.
It has a nice shape. And so he's taken the most distracting elements and gone low with the camera so that these wider, cleaner parts of this glacier all overlap and take care of what was black and dark, which could be really distracting in the frame.
But he's not so low that you still get the high peaks and the other ones even behind that, which still give a lot of interest in the background, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if Allen did this on purpose, because we were looking at one picture we were considering, and they had an element where here's an obvious distant highlight background, and then they had something that was completely parallel with it and kissing it and touching it and went down. And what would have been stronger is if this element right here would have actually come up and over that horizon and then came down. And Allen, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but you got lucky if you didn't do it on purpose, where this one peak comes up and goes down, the horizon is a little bit below it. And if you hadn't done that, if you had built a tangent by having this line just kind of come up to here and stop, that would have been a waste. That would have been too bad. So it's great that he was smart enough to put low enough to get this to break the plane of the horizon in the background, and then everything else is in a nice shape. I mean, the only tangent could be this shape right here, but because of the distance, you can't tell exactly where this blends, and it looks like it's still fine and has some breathing room.
Yeah.
So he's lined up all those peaks that you're mentioning really well, too.
Yeah, it was really good.
So awesome composition, awesome shot, way to take advantage of this location. Brendan was looking at the map of this lagoon, and it's got to be nuts to find a composition because everything probably looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just on Google Earth alone, I was looking, and there's icebergs everywhere. I mean, it's just like this, they call it Glacier Lagoon because this whole bay is just full of them.
It's like iceberg debris everywhere.
Yeah, so you can see how long this beach line is, too. I mean, he said he's walking up and down for hours trying to figure out what to shoot, and so... I'm excited to have that problem. have to go there and have the same problem and to figure out which of these amazing things I want to capture.
So good job, Allen. Great job with your balance. Remember, guys, if you're looking to join and become one of the Monday Moment of Envy shots, get balance in your color, balance in your shapes, few distractions, balance in your composition, and make sure you post it to our Facebook listeners group. Yeah. And if you guys enjoy Allen Chau's photography, check out more of his stuff at allenchaudigital.com.
Cool.
So thanks. See you guys next week. We're out here at Bandon, Oregon. This place is beautiful. We have rocks galore, trees everywhere.
And wind galore.
Wind galore.